Hello, everybody. Happy Friday to you, March 21st, 2025. It's spring, baby. This is your morning rush, and I got all your stories for your ride to work. I'll be discussing Deal or No Deal Island, the new hit show that's making Survivor look like chump change. They're getting down to the finale. Will they be playing for $10 million? And Sean Lowe, Bachelor, the body camera footage of his very sad experience dealing with a new dog, new to him at least, as he was attacked twice by this dog. We're going to share some of the less graphic scenes from that body cam footage as it's been made public. And then also Brianna Chickenfry. Remember her? She was offered $10 million to keep her mouth shut after a failed relationship with Zach Bryan. Well, now Bert Kreischer, comedian, tells her she should have taken the money. Of course, Bert Kreischer, his lifetime story written about him is actually Van Wilder, which stars Ryan Reynolds, who's married to Blake Lively, who's in the court documents we're covering. Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, slams Blake's motion. I'm going to share exactly what he had to say, the colorful verbiage to dunk on her response as she's trying to get out of this lawsuit. And then we've got Jackie Robinson. He was scrubbed from a website, a government website. Well, now they say, oops, that was our mistake, and he's back in. And of mistakes, as we speak of mistakes, a soccer star was deported as part of that Venezuelan flight to El Salvador. Well, now the attorneys are saying he has committed no crimes, and it's a complete mistake. So talk about messing things up. We'll be sharing all those stories and more. It's all happening right now on The Rush. All right, before we get into the content, I had a show last night at Zany's in Nashville. I'm doing stand-up. Right before I'm going on stage, a verbal fight breaks out between the audience. They were doing crowd work. Whether who's the best basketball player of all time? Is it LeBron or is it Michael Jordan? They were going back and forth, and the kids all said LeBron. The elder millennials all said Michael Jordan. And I think it's pretty clear to us if you look at the stats here. There's a lot of reasons why they're neck and neck, but I really think Michael Jordan, he's got more hardware. And he's, hey, what do I know? What do I know? Now, people said, Dave, tell us who's your favorite. And I said, you have to watch the Morning Rush Hour podcast, and then I'll tell you. Because, of course, I'll do anything to get people to watch. So here it is. Team Michael Jordan. All right, let's move it on to some other news. And we've got David Jeanette from Deal or No Deal Island. He won Survivor Australia, and now he's commenting on what got him off his butt to compete for this prize. Because he says, I'm not going to compete for Survivor's $1 million prize. They haven't even, increased it over time due to inflation. Technically, right now, Survivor, if they wanted to compete with the $1 million they offered 20 years ago, they should be giving out $1.8 million. That's a whole nother story. Have a listen to this.
You would have said no to Survivor America?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
It's just not interesting to me.
Not interesting.
And it's like, what are you going to go through hell for like $1 million?
Right.
And then $500,000 after taxes. It's just kind of like
$500,000. You got to eat some cockroaches. Who needs $500,000 in today's economy? Show up when we're doing 10 million, and then I'll eat a bug.
I've been there. I've done it. I think the Australian version is so much better, and it's just kind of like, I don't know. It didn't really hold too much appeal for me.
It's way better to go glamping in Fiji, and it's not as stressful.
Yeah, the Australian version of Survivor is you have to steal a baby wombat and hope that the world doesn't cancel you.
They treated us so good.
Really?
You get to the Survivor experience of like all that strategy and social gameplay, but then you're in like these luxury tents with air conditioning. You're getting 4 meals a day. It's like all the Coke Zero you can handle.
It's like,
I couldn't even believe it. It was like being paid to be on vacation, and you get a chance to an insane amount of money. And I think that is the thing where it's like Dondi breaks the mold. Where like, why would you want to do any other game show if you're like a reality show talent? That's all you're going to want to do.
There it is. They call it Dondi, Deal or No Deal Island. I'll be honest with you guys. When I heard of Deal or No Deal Island, I said, that's the dumbest name for a TV show ever. And then I watched it, and I love it. It's a good show. It's a good show. Much better show than Bachelor. But, and folks, I truly mean this. You might not want to watch this part. I'm not going to share any graphic parts, but Bachelor alumni Sean Lowe. This is the dramatic rescue seen on body cam. Cops were forced to tase the dog. I'm not going to share any of that. But we already shared Sean Lowe and what he he had to say about this. They get this rescue dog 3 months, 3 months into having him. The fire alarm goes off in the house because they were cooking barbecue, and it set this trigger off in the dog where it attacked Sean. He's a 220-pound guy. The dog ripped through his arms. He had to get stitches. Well, the next day, as they were preparing to give the dog back, the dog busts through the gate and attacks him again, which takes us to this moment I'm going to share. Just a few different moments. This is, I believe, either Sean's parents or his mother-in-law describing to the police officers on scene that Sean, the guy who was on the ground right here, is actually the owner of the dog. It's a real scary sight.
Their dog.
It was a rescue.
Last night attacked him for the first time, and now he attacked him again just now.
It's a rescue dog. They haven't had long.
They were going to get rid of it today. It just came out of the house and attacked him again.
They called to have
So there's Sean, and Sean's 220 pounds. He's on the dog, just making sure it doesn't attack him. He's kind of giving it a chokehold, and they're saying, this dog, it's just a rescue. It just went nuts.
Where'd you get bit, sir?
He's already got stitches.
Is he still biting you currently?
No.
He has stitches from yesterday.
Do you know who the dog owner is?
I'm the dog owner.
You're the dog owner.
He just all of a sudden turned on him.
It's a rescue. He has not had it long.
Okay.
He got 20 stitches last night, and he attacked him again today.
He called to have the dog picked up today. They didn't come yet.
Well, I know you're holding on to him, but I just...
All right, it's a real scary stuff. So then they finally get to the moment where they can pull Sean up off of the dog, and again, they put the collar around it. And I mean, it's just scary because, you love dogs, right? But I don't know if this dog was bred or abused or what went down, but it's just a real tragic moment there where Sean Lowe, bachelor, quite literally was fighting for his life. He thought that the dog got his artery the day before, and this time the dog jumps on him, and he didn't know if it was a friendly jump or if he was coming after him, his own dog. So there it is, the moment they get Sean Lowe away. It's absolutely crazy stuff. And then, of course, they were trying to subdue the dog. And I don't know. I'm assuming they put it down because, a dog, when that happens, it's like that would have, no kid, no normal-sized person would stand a chance against a giant ball of muscle like that dog. It's a real sad story. But when it comes to rush hour content, if that's not the type of stuff we bring to the table, I don't know what is. Well, we've been covering Brianna Chickenfry for a while. She was offered millions of dollars by Zach Bryan, her ex, to just have an NDA not talk. And she said, you know what? I'm not going to do that. She didn't take the money. And here's Bert Kreischer saying, you should have taken the money. Have a listen.
Okay, let's hear it.
You should have taken the money.
Everyone thinks that.
No, you should. I'll tell you, man, I've been in drama before. Mm-hmm. Internet drama sucks.
It does.
It sucks. It sucks because... don't you guys have a booze company or something?
Oh, yeah, you want some?
Yeah, I'll take a cocktail.
It
sucks because you get misrepresented. You get misspoken for.
Yeah.
And it is colossally frustrating. And you're never going to win. You're never going to win. Not everyone's going to agree with you. People are going to hate your guts, and they're going to hate your guts for unfair reasons.
And I can't speak to their situation, but it is true. The bigger your channel gets, the more people know you. There's going to be people that no matter what you say or do, they're just not going to like you. And I think what I'm learning, and what I'm sure she's learning, as she's got a lot of haters out there, is that it's like the more you try to defend yourself, the more you're proving someone's point of whether they love you or hate you. And, take me, for example. I've got such an amazing community who I care about the haters. Why? And again, it's some primal shit, and most people that have never been in that situation would understand. But even yesterday, I shared an interview I did with Taylor Lorenz, and it got a little bit of pushback. And it's like people wanted me to go harder and cross-examine her. And I'm like, do you understand? We did a 48-minute conversation while I was holding a GoPro, trying to keep us in frame, command the conversation, ask smart questions, but also not piss off my guest because we were walking through a park. I'm not Barbara Walters, which is probably a bad example because she's hasn't aged too gracefully. Not her personally, but her content. Anyway, the point, what I'm trying to say is you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And that's okay, That's just okay. And she's learning that, and Bert said take the money. All right, well, here's a hard lesson learned. University of Michigan football ex-coach Matt Weiss accused of hacking athletes' intimate photos. Matt Weiss, a former assistant coach for the University of Michigan football team, facing multiple criminal charges over allegations he downloaded intimate photos from hundreds of athletes' internet accounts after illegally hacking into them. Gaining access to over 30 4,300 accounts, mostly belonging to female college athletes. I hate to say it, you're not allowed to do that. I'm sure that was in the, HR notebook. Don't download people's accounts. I don't know how, maybe he got some sort of like database access, but sick stuff, and good to see that he's going to be facing the prosecution on that one. All right, well, I've got court papers to get into. I got Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni. I'm going to get into what Justin Baldoni's lawyer had to say and what Blake's team is saying, because every day there's more to the drama, and I'm going to get into all of this happening next. So we have Blake Lively accusing Justin Baldoni of retaliating with his lawsuit on her. And then we have Justin Baldoni's lawyer saying Blake is abusing the system. To be quite honest, everyone I meet's Team Blake. I mean, other than Taylor Lorenz. Everyone's Team Justin Baldoni. I got that wrong. Everyone's Team Justin Baldoni. Even last night, when I did this stand-up show, there was a Q&A after, like with the host of the show, and I had a girl in the audience yell out, "That bitch." I mean, that's crazy. People really that have followed this are either A, being duped, or they've got a good intuition, and it's really up to you to decide. Now, if you want to watch that interview that I did, that live stand-up clip, and the Q&A, I'll post it on today's Patreon, or this weekend, patreon.com/Dave Neal. Yeah, go ahead over to Patreon and I'll post it there, patreon.com/Dave Neal, and I'll share privately the conversation we had with the audience, because there was even a lawyer in the audience, shout out to our friends over there in Tennessee who came to the show, who is, I think he teaches law, and he said it's going to go to trial. He said it's going to go to trial, and people have agreed to disagree on this one. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I feel like every day that it continues, it's one day closer to trial. So here's what Blake had to say in her, I guess this is her final amended complaint. She said, introduction and summary of argument. The Wayfair Party's vengeful and rambling lawsuit against Blake Lively is a profound abuse of the legal process that has no place in federal court. The law prohibits weaponizing defamation lawsuits like this one to retaliate against individuals who have filed legal claims or have publicly spoken out about harassment and retaliation. The right to seek legal redress and the right of the press to report on it are sacred principles that are protected by multiple privileges, including the litigation and fair report privileges, which are absolute. Moreover, by choosing to bring their claims under California law, the Wayfair parties have voluntarily subjected their entire lawsuit to the harassment privilege in the recent enacted California Civil Code, Section 47.1, which bars retaliatory lawsuits based on public disclosures of harassment and related allegations, including disclosures to the press. Given all of these protections, the Wayfair Party's chief complaint that Miss Lively and others supposedly conspired with the New York Times is barred as a matter of law. She was legally entitled to file her complaint and disclose it to the public. So their argument is, you're not allowed to sue us back because we filed this harassment suit. I mean, it's like punching someone and then they don't get a chance to return the blow. So here's what Justin Baldoni's power attorney, Brian Friedman, is saying. Blake is abusing the legal system, slams her motion to dismiss the suit. They're firing back at her attempt to cut herself out of the ongoing legal drama surrounding the film It Ends With Us. Brian Friedman, power attorney, tells TMZ Miss Lively's recent motion to dismiss herself from the self-concocted disaster she initiated is one of the most abhorrent examples of abusing our legal systems. Friedman says stringent rules are put into place to protect the innocent and allow individuals to rightfully defend themselves, while noting laws are not meant to be twisted and curated by privileged elites to fit their own personal agenda. TMZ broke the story that Blake filed her motion to dismiss, saying Baldoni violated the law by filing his own lawsuit in the purpose of revenge. Blake says Baldoni filed his defamation suit against her, her husband, and everyone else after she filed his. And of course, when she filed her lawsuit onto him, obviously he's going to take a hit from that career-wise. So his response is like, you're defaming me by doing that. And she's saying, well, you can't even respond. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the law really says. We're waiting to see what the judge... So the judge takes in all these motions to dismiss, and he goes through them all, and he's going to come up and say, hey, dismissed or not dismissed. My guess is None of it's going to get dismissed. Bring it all to the trial. It is a battle royale of chaos is what it's going to be. And you know what? Speaking of chaos, and we'll have more today. We will have more on Blake Lively today. We'll have separate content. You got to understand, my voice is gone. I've done like 13 podcast episodes this week. I had that red-eye flight yesterday. I'm just living and breathing off of sugar-free Red Bull. We are hanging in there, folks. It's a Friday. I'm not hungover from drinking. I'm hungover from life. But either way, speaking of disaster stories, I've got several to get into. This one being about Jackie Robinson. He was scrubbed, and his accomplishments were scrubbed from a Department of Defense website. Now they're saying, oopsies, big mistake. Harvey Levin with TMZ is saying, aren't we sick of all these mistakes? You're just breaking everything. Can't we handle government more delicately? Have a listen.
Word oops. We made a mistake. Rather than doing this broad sweep whenever something comes up with black or gay or Native American, rather than doing a broad sweep and then saying, oh, yeah, we made a mistake there, we'll bring it back, why aren't they doing it the proper way?
They're using AI and the algorithm to come in and try to detect what they put in with the formula as anything pertaining to DEI hiring. When you try to take on something as vast as the government, specifically the Pentagon, and you have that one formula entered in for the AI to detect, you're gonna make some mistakes. And I think it's normal to go back in and restore the mistakes. They made the mistake for pulling the Jackie Robinson thing off. They told me they're going to restore that. One of the mistakes that I've heard President Trump say he made when he first got elected the first time was that he took things in steps. And a lot of times what he wanted to achieve didn't get achieved because he was always battling with the bureaucracy. So they're coming in this other time. There's going to be mistakes made. But
so they're basically saying they don't want due process. So they're just going to make mistakes. It's better to apologize than ask permission. I mean, this is crazy. This is stuff that's coming from the White House website. Look at this, titled, Yes, Biden spent millions on transgender animal experiments. Last night, President Donald J. Trump highlighted many of the egregious examples of waste, fraud, and abuse funded by American taxpayers, including $8 million spent by the Biden administration for making mice transgender. The fake news losers at CNN immediately tried to fact check it, but President Trump was right as usual. Folks, this is from whitehouse.gov. What the actual fuck is going on? Let's take a break. I'm going to come back and share an insane example of the massive mistakes happening that are affecting people's lives. And by the way, transgenic mice, that just means that they are mice with altered genomes containing foreign DNA. They're used to study gene function, model human diseases, develop new therapies in the fields of cancer research and drug discovery. Oh my gosh. And it's crazy. It's crazy. I call this, you can check the data. I called this months ago when they said they were going to start bringing American prisoners to an El Salvadorian prison and our tax dollars are paying for it. I said, something's not up. So what happens is there was a couple flights, I think 2 flights, totaling like 350, what they called Venezuelan gang members. And they were sent to this El Salvadorian prison, right? They did a whole propaganda video with the music was pretty badass, but they had drone shots and they shaved all of their heads. But the judge demanded answers from White House on the deportation flights to El Salvador. The judge said, if that plane is in the air, turn it around right now, and they did not obey the orders. They went against the judge. And now they're instructing Trump's administration to explain how the refusal to return the flights did not violate court orders. Now, I've talked to people about this, and people say, well, Dave, shouldn't we want these dangerous gang members out of our country? Yeah, I mean, the rules have always been that if a person, an illegal alien here or a visa holder or whatever, someone who doesn't have the right paperwork, if they commit a certain crime, a violent crime, they're kicked out of the country. So when Trump takes his term, they ran on saying, we're going to get rid of the violent criminals. And people were saying, oh, but what about like people that are just here? No, we're going to get rid of criminals, violent criminals. That's it. And now what they're saying is, well, if you're in the country and you're here illegally, that is a crime. Therefore, we will get rid of you too. And it's having a massive effect on people because they sent these folks to this El Salvadorian prison, which is a dangerous place. And Trump says they're all bad hombres. And now just several days later, as people are lawyering up and figuring out where their husbands went, their fathers, their loved ones, we're finding horrible stories. This was reported right here. I'm going to read it for you. Sworn declarations filed last night confirmed the Trump administration sent innocent people to rot in prison in El Salvador, including a professional soccer player tortured by the Maduro regime who entered this country legally to seek asylum and has no criminal record in either country. And wait till you find out what our administration is doing to get these people out of our country. Some of these people are heroes. They're heroically fleeing and seeking asylum in legal ways. Here's the declaration. I'm the immigration attorney, and he was, says he was born in '89 in Venezuela. In February and March, Mr. Reyes Barrios marched in 2 demonstrations in Venezuela protesting the authoritarian rule of Maduro. In the second demonstration, he was detained and taken to a clandestine building where he was tortured. Shortly after his release, he fled Venezuela to the United States. He registered with Mexico and did all the right things, the facilities, seeked asylum, and then on March 15th, he was deported to El Salvador, no notice to counsel or family. It was not until March 18th that counsel was able to reach an ICE official and learn that he had in fact been deported. He is a professional soccer player in Venezuela. He has never been arrested or charged with a crime. He has a steady employment record as a soccer player, as well as a soccer coach for children and youth. Initially, Mr. Reyes Barrios was placed in a maximum security and accused of being a Tren de Aragua gang member. The accusation is based on 2 things. First, he has a tattoo on his arm of a crown sitting atop a soccer ball with a rosary and the word Dios. DHS alleges that this tattoo is proof of gang membership. In reality, he chose this tattoo because it is similar to the logo of his favorite soccer team, Real Madrid. See logo below. So they show the logo. Second, DHS reviewed his social media post and found a photo of Mr. Reyes Barrios making a hand gesture that they allege is proof of gang membership. In fact, the gesture is a common one that means I love you in sign language and is commonly used as a rock and roll symbol. Mr. Reyes Barrios' social media post. And again, they've showed other politicians doing it. The Texas Longhorns do it. It's rock and roll. It's whatever. So this is what they are using as evidence to put these men behind bars in a dangerous prison in a country they've never been to. Folks, this is not freedom. This is not what we stand for. And I've got friends. I know people out there, and I'm speaking to you, that say, hey, but if they're dangerous guys, send them away. Show the fucking math. Show the math and send it through the court system. And if they are still dangerous and if the courts decided they need to go, then they need to go. But what is the fucking hurry? What is the hurry that we need to throw these guys out when some of them, if not a majority, we have no idea, are innocent? God damn, where's the civility in our world? Where the fuck is it? And this is one example. One example. And I'm sure he had the privilege that others don't, to have this sort of, wherewithal to try to get counsel and get help. And there he is. They got his head shaved. His mother sees a photo of him and immediately weeps. Think of your mother. Think of the people in your life if you went missing. But is it because he's brown and speaks a different language and his name sounds funny to you? Is that the reason why we're not doing anything about it? Come the fuck on. And just don't be okay with this. Don't be complicit. This is the shit you read about in the history books. This is not what happens in our goddamn 2025 United States of America. And people are speaking up at town halls. And they're just laughing. They're laughing at us. Here's a GOP town hall. There's town halls where they're not even letting independents or Democrats at because they think, they're spoiling it. They're paid protesters. GOP Rep. Hageman gets booed at her town hall. Have a listen to this.
To me, how obsessed you are with federal government. But here's the thing.
She said, it's funny to me how obsessed you are with federal government.
You guys are going to have a heart attack if you don't calm down. I'm sorry. Your hysteria is just really over the top.
Is my hysteria over the top? Is it? Well, I'll tell you what. I'd rather be on the right side of history. All right. I know it gets heated. But what do you want to do? Come on. Are we really not going to take to the streets and show what the hell is going on? We'll have to see. All right. It's tough to transition out of that one. You got to get hot. You got to get hot. That's the only way to do this. You got to have a little theatrics to let people know. This ain't some crazy guy wants to tax the billionaire. This is happening now. And right now it's a Venezuelan soccer player. And maybe it's a guy whose free speech you don't agree with. Sooner or later, it's a cousin or somebody else. And it's like, where do you draw the line? I know what side I'm on. And I'm very happy that I'll be talking about this and using my platform to try to elicit some change and inspire some hope to do the right thing. Let's see what the judges have to say, and let's get these innocent people back and get them run through the process to figure it all out. So some guy who does a couple cool signs and has got a tattoo of his favorite soccer team doesn't rot behind bars. Some goddamn humanity in this place. Happy spring. I'll be back this afternoon. I'm Dave Neal. This is The Rush.